Welcome to the Eric Thompson Show. Passionate conservative fighting to preserve our constitutional rights.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
A Marine Corps veteran and family man whose life's creed is faith, family, and country. Join Eric today as he covers current events from a conservative worldview. Now, here's your host, Eric Thompson.
Hi, welcome to another short Eric Thompson Show podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. It's Thursday, March 3rd, 2022. I'm out here in California. If you want to get a hold of me, you can always check out my website, eric-thompsonshow.com, eric-thompsonshow.com. I wanted to welcome all of you listening on the Truth Social app. I was fortunate to be one of the 50,000 people to get in early, so there's a lot of great activity. If you're signed up to join, it's going to be worth your wait, so I thought I would at least give you a little bit of shout out there. I'm a political writer as a profession, and then I do a Christian podcast, so I'm immersed in God's Word, and I'm immersed in the global political scene. And what's, I think, difficult for people that are reasonable is we're dealing in a world with a lot of lost souls and a lot of people that are just evil. People that lie, distort, twist. In the United States, we see a lot of politicians that fall in line with the Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals methodology, his teachings that Hillary Clinton was mentored under for a period of time. She actually wrote her senior thesis about the guy. He was a city organizer, a corrupt city organizer that wanted to tear down structured communities and then try to rebuild them up so it's more equitable. Barack Obama pushed that through his city organizing. We see that today in critical race theory. We see that in social justice, racial justice, environmental justice. But these people that are leading these causes are politicians. They lie. Unashamedly. If they get caught, they say, "I'm sorry." That's it. A good example. Al Gore kicked off this whole idea, got a Nobel Peace Prize, that global warming was real, climate change, the world's going to be ending. AOC came around just in the last 5 years, 3 or 4 years actually, saying the world's going to end in 12 years. But yet they travel on Gulfstream private jets, they take limos, and they buy homes on the ocean. Barack Obama, the Clintons, Joe Biden, etc. They say that illegal alien or illegal immigration is fine, and then they buy homes with walls on them, with security. They say you got to wear a mask, and then they're videotaped and photos are taken without them wearing masks and hosting big parties where no one's was vaccinated, nobody wearing a mask. But hey. You guys are like Pelosi when she got caught getting her hair cut when San Francisco was locked down. This is just a Republican trap. Deflect, deflect, deflect. So a couple quick stories I want to cover with you here from today that kind of are standing out to me. The White House, especially after the debacle and the failed withdrawal from Afghanistan, and Biden's numbers are in the 30s, and Harris, the whole thing's a mess. State of the Union was a joke. So the press is asking White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, who's gotten a little better at lying. She doesn't have to flip around her book as much. But Fox News is reporting this. Psaki pressed today on Thursday on whether the U.S. financing Putin's war. Are we, the people of the United States of America, are we financing Putin's war by buying Russian oil? And here is her answer. There's a policy process that is undergone for any decision that is made. Sometimes those move more rapidly, and often there's a range of factors that are discussed as those decisions are made. Are you like me? Do you get tired of just all of this platitudes and just rhetoric and just muck-a-muck? What kind of answer is that? Do you think it's wrong, Psaki, that we're buying 650,000 barrels of oil a day in an inflated market, giving Putin about $110 a barrel? 650,000 of those a day? When we could be producing it in our own country? And all she can say is, there's a policy process that is undergone for any decision that is made. Sometimes they move rapidly, and often there's a range of factors. Well, they kept pressing her. Well, okay, but personal sanction, what are you doing about Putin? Well, one of the big factors is, she said, of course, is the proximity to President Putin. We want him to feel the squeeze. Now, she was in a video, I believe it was yesterday, when they were asking her about this. And she said that, well, we don't want to like do the Keystone Pipeline. We don't want to go do a bunch of permanent stuff for a temporary problem. We actually don't want to become energy independent again, and get all the machinery going and get everything working. Because soon it'll go away, and then we'll be back to having to shut it down, because we believe in the climate changes happening, even though, like I said, they're buying homes on the ocean. We believe that COVID was a big problem, that masks works. They worked, and they still work. Yet now even Saturday Night Live and all the states reopened mysteriously. They say that they want equity and everyone to be treated equally, but yet then they go and they elevate people of color over people not of color. They say they want everyone to be kumbaya to get along, and then a lot of the major universities have graduations now by the Hispanic graduation, the LGBT graduation, the black only graduation, and they say that that's gonna, they want us to come together, but then they promote everything that is the opposite. And that is why we're having such a difficult time. That's the biggest problem. You can't have negotiations, kind of like what Ukraine's trying to do with Russia right now. You can't have negotiations with liars. And for some reason in politics, there is an assumption that both sides are coming in good faith to discuss issues, and that's a lie. The left is not coming with good intentions. There's another article here from Fox News. Stacey Abrams, who still has not conceded the 2018 Georgia governor race. She got mocked because she's comparing herself and progressives to Zelensky and Ukraine. Because why not? I mean, we are the good people. We're the ones looking out for everybody. So why not go with what we are trying to convey here? Listen to this. This is just it's kind of nauseating. Now, the Ukraine requires voter ID, by the way. And the Democrats, and her whole premise of this argument is that the minority voters in Georgia, where she's running again, are being excluded because they would have to provide an ID. Now, she's going to compare her and the progressives to Ukraine where you have to have an ID. So I'm kind of confused here, but let's look at this really quick. Georgia Democratic gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams was mocked online after comparing herself and progressive Democrats to Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and his people fighting out for Russian invasion. She was on The Daily Show and she said, "We are a stronger nation when we allow people to participate." And if we've ever doubted that, the war that Putin is waging against Ukraine, President Zelensky said, and I'm going to paraphrase him probably poorly. He said, this isn't a war on Ukraine, it's a war on democracy in Ukraine. And she continued saying it's wrong when we allow democracy to be overtaken by those who want to choose who can be heard. And those choices are not based on anything other than animus or inconvenience. Well, she got jumped on all over social media. Do you think it's kind of twisted to try to use an invasion on a nation to say, well, you know, they're saying that they're being suppressed as they're getting blown up to pieces and death and all this stuff. But just, you know, we're kind of the same thing over here as Democrats. We're kind of, we're mistreated and people aren't able to vote. And so it's kind of similar. Tell me how. How do reasonable people speak with people like this? And this is why I say we live in the divided states of America. And so what I'm doing in K-Truths when we go live in April, we're going to be dealing with what I'm going to be calling kind of the real news or the news that matters. A lot of the stories that are in the news are really more clickbait. They're more intended to drive traffic to websites so then people can make money off Google AdSense. But the article really, it does nothing except get you upset for a second. But because you get over to the website, read through it, look at a few ads, then the news source makes money, which then funds them to go run some more articles to get you to click over for a minute, which has nothing to do with fixing the problems in the country. So we're going to be dealing with combating the Great Reset, the United Nations 2030. We're going to be dealing with immigration and education, combating critical race theory, trying to stop the expansion, the intrusiveness of the LGBTQ+2 movement. Because if we're going to live under equality, not equity. Equity is a bad word now. We'll just be discussing that. Equity, public-private partnerships, social contracts, all these things. We as individuals, if we want to live freely, if we want to live under liberty, we need to understand that we're in a war against a significant number of people in our population that are indoctrinated into Marxism through the college systems and now through the public education systems. And they're told that people should be able to do what they want unless they happen to be a MAGA supporter or they want to maintain the status quo. Those people cannot be heard. Only the people who want to change things can be heard. But yet they want equity and equality. It's a lie. It'll fail. When Chavez was down in Venezuela and they had money flowing all over, oil, government was buying up all of the industries and the people were getting all this money and they said, this is it. We did it. We found the perfect government model. And then what happened? The people that had the money. So we're not going to invest in any businesses in the country because the government's going to take all the industries anyway. So we're going to put our money somewhere else. People say, well, I'm not going to work very hard because I get the same stuff that the guy who doesn't work hard. And then what happens? Oil drops around the world in pricing. There goes their main income. And then Venezuela, then the people start eating their zoo animals. Look at Cuba. Look at when Mao was running China. what's happening right now in the United States is the progressives who would destroy our country overnight are being held up by the majority, the silent majority in the United States that's stopping it. So that's why when Biden is at 33% and people don't like him and inflation's high and Psaki's saying, oh, well, we're going through this long process of determining what we should be doing. Yes, we're buying 650,000 barrels of oil from the guy that's blowing people up in Ukraine, but we really are mad at him. But we're still buying the oil. We believe in climate change, but give me a house on the ocean. We think masks work, but I'm not going to wear one, and I'm going to have a party with a bunch of people not wearing masks. I believe in economic justice, but I have a bunch of homes with walls around them. So you can, for legally open borders and people pouring in, but I have security details outside my house. And then the average progressive, what are we doing? Okay, we're supposed to get mad. We're supposed to woke. We're supposed to cancel culture. And that makes you feel that they're angry. Why would anybody want to live angry all the time? Well, it's called arrested development if you look it up. When there's trauma or when there's stress, or now that we're raising kids as snowflakes, what happens is if something happens or a series of events happen that shock them, some people, their body will go into a defense mechanism where they quit developing emotionally, and they kind of freeze frame and they protect themselves, whatever that state of mind is or maturity at that point. So now we see people that have, cognitive dissonance. There's people that they say stuff and it's not true, and then they get mad, and you're like, why are you mad all the time? And why are you out marching, young girl, with Antifa, Black Lives Matter? Why was Black Lives Matter and Antifa started by angry young women? You saw Collier's from Black Lives Matter. Her and two other lesbian girls were mad about Trayvon Martin and Zimmerman. So they said, well, let's go raise some money to do an organization. And in it, we're going to promote transgenderism. We're going to destroy the nuclear family of mom, dad, children. We're going to advance black causes over any other cause. We're going to be anti-police. We're going to have comrades. And that was on their website. That was Black Lives Matter. But it was started by angry girls. And you want to know why everything right now is transgenderism. So, as I'm going to wrap this up, but what's happening in the United States of America right now is we have a bunch of politicians, civic leaders, even quote unquote apostate preachers that are trying to use the power of the government, trying to replace God with government, and then they and a few elite people are smart enough to be able to fix the problems of the world, and they get wealthy doing it. That is why we need term limits. It's why we need a constitutional amendment to have a balanced budget. It's why we need to stop asylum, because it's being abused. Asylum is abused. Less than 3% of the people actually qualify, yet we continue it. Well, we got to have a mechanism for people that are fleeing for their safety. No, we don't need that mechanism because it's being abused. If we get rid of asylum and finish the wall and enforce E-Verify, there is no immigration problem. Because 99% of the people that get up to the border be like, oh, I'm fleeing my home. Okay, well, sorry. What do you want us to do for you? Because it's not true most of the time. We got to quit acting like it is. Well, they need to have their due process. No, they don't. We don't owe anybody anything when they get to the border. We get rid of asylum and say, what can we do for you? Well, we want to come in. Well, then you got to go through the process. 99% of the people coming up are for economic refuge, economic migrants. That's why Abbott said from Texas, 150 different nations, people pouring in, India, China, Indonesia, Mexico, Salvador, Russia. It's unsustainable. So what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, the United States doesn't really want to do anything about it. Period. China eventually will go after Hong Kong and Taiwan because the Biden administration, there's no way. Mitch McConnell's married to a Chinese citizen, communist. The family owns a distribution business in China. So all these people are connected to China. The NBA is connected to China. Hollywood. TikTok is China owned. Do you know TikTok is collecting massive amounts of data and feeding it back to the communist government in China? That's why Trump wanted to did not want the app to operate in the United States. But they said, oh, no. We have an American office location and we have an American, board. So, it's not. Yeah, it's all going back to China. But hey, no. We have an American branch. So you can't stop us. But every day they're collecting data, facial data, names, emotions, city locations. And then in their country, they have social credit scores. Right now in the United States, they're working on an ESG score, environmental, social justice, governance. Eventually, you go to get a loan, they're going to say, you got a bad ESG score. Well, I know, but I need a home loan. Sorry, you're not good on social justice. Well, I don't believe in it. Well, then you don't get a loan because we think you're a risk, because we think that you're going to lose your job because of it. Then you won't be able to pay your bills. So the reason why 22 and 24 are important is we need to deconstruct the federal government, strip away all of those committees, all of those cabinet positions, get everything back to the states, and then we, the people, can fix it at the state level. So I do want to thank you for listening in. My two sponsors over here, do me a favor. Check out puretalk.com, puretalk.com. I switched to them a year and a half ago. Here's what happened. I was with T-Mobile. My cell phone bill was high. I was getting overages. It was a disaster. So I heard Pure Talk on Rush's show, switched. They mailed me the SIM cards in the mail. I switched them out in my phones because I kept my phones. I kept my phone numbers. And the next thing I know is I turn the phones on. It says Pure Talk. I had the same number of bars. I had the same coverage. I still had the hotspot. And then when I got my first bill, it was over 50% less than what I had been paying. My bill today for 3 phones is only $62.32 for 3 phones. So do me a favor. Join the hundreds of thousands of people that are going over to Pure Talk from AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint. Their customer service is in Atlanta. Nice people. CEO is a veteran. Top wireless rated company. And if you happen to go over on your data, they don't charge you. So my bill will always be $62.23, even if I go over on my data. So to give them a shot, getpuretalk.com, getpuretalk.com. If you use my promo code of 3 letters, FLS, for liberty's sake, FLS, you'll get 50% off your first bill with them, which is going to be about 50% less than what you've been paying. So go to getpuretalk.com, promo code FLS, and let me know what you think about it. And also mypillow.com, mypillow.com. You know about Mike, 150 different items. I love his pillow. I love his mattress topper. I love them all. Go ahead and give them a shot over there. Go to mypillow.com. Go to the radio special box on the homepage. When you check out, same promo code, FLS. He's got up to 90% off right now. MyPillow.com, promo code FLS. If you want to save up to $1,000 a year on average as for a family with Pure Talk, think of what could you do with $1,000 a year if everything stayed the same with your phone service. You just don't pay as much. Go to getpuretalk.com, promo code FLS. Thank you so much for listening. Talk to you later.
I'm Mike Lindell, the CEO of MyPillow. Cancel culture has not only affected myself and MyPillow, but millions of you out there. My employees and I want to personally thank each and every one of you for all of your support. At MyPillow, we not only have pillows, but we have hundreds of products, including my new slippers, bathrobes, sleepwear, and my new beds. We're offering the best gifts ever for the best prices ever. For example, we have this exclusive offer on the standard size MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now only $19.98 with your promo code. We also have the queen size MyPillows, regularly $79.98, now only $24.98 with your promo code. And we have the king size, regularly $89.98, now only $29.98 with your promo code. So go to MyPillow.com now and use the promo code on your screen or call the 1-800 number below to receive this exclusive offer.
This is why thousands of people are switching to Pure Talk for their cellular service.
I always assumed that using a bigger provider meant better coverage. It turns out that it's the same network.
And I keep the same phone number.
And you save a bunch of money.
We have a foreigner family, and we save about $70 a month.
With plans at $30 a month for unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data. Learn more at puretalk.com. Pure Talk. Simply smarter wireless.